I'm Alan Neville. I am a professor of education here at Northern State University. Describing my military experience, I spent 21 years, retired actually in the U.S. Army Reserve as a Sergeant First Class, enlisted in 1987, served through 2008. My military occupational specialties were, initially I was a legal non-commissioned officer, then was a administrative NCO, spent some time as a saxophone player, and finished up my military career as an observer, controller, trainer. During my 21 years of service, I spent 8 years on active duty. I did 3 overseas deployments, two to Republic of Panama. Initial deployment there was right after the U.S. invasion of Panama and the ouster of Noriega. We were up near the Costa Rican border, did an engineering mission there. Second deployment to Panama, spent in Panama City at Fort Clayton. I also did a deployment to Pisa, Italy. We were at Camp Darby there. And actually, while I was at Northern, I was mobilized for Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I served that time down at Fort Bliss, Texas. As far as what I do at Northern State University, this year I'm teaching graduate and undergraduate courses, the South Dakota Indian Studies class and the Educational Assessment class. Actually, that's how I initially joined the military. I'd like to say it was for noble and patriotic purposes, but I was a little non-traditional in that I went to basic training when I was a first-year teacher. And at that time, the military enacted a program called the Student Loan Repayment Program. So recent college graduate needing some finances to help pay off those student loans, sign me up. So my reason was a little bit mercenary to join the military, but I think military students, as far as what they might bring to Northern State University, certainly a diversity of experiences. In the military, you get to travel a lot, and certainly that was the case with me. I have really fond memories of all of those trips and deployments that I had, mostly fond memories, I should say. So the diversity of experiences they bring, and I think as a student in our classrooms, that's a good thing because their depth and breadth of knowledge is really great. And class discussions, I think, can be enriched by having diverse students and veterans. And then you always hear about common hardships, when you live and sleep and eat and sweat and go through hardship type experiences that, kind of a bond forms. And I think those military students, they've all been through that. Honestly, I think we're a very diverse campus anyway, so that with military veteran type students, I think they would really feel right at home. I know we have several veterans on our staff and faculty here at Northern. I've had numerous veterans back during early Iraqi freedom and later Afghanistan. We had students called up, myself included. And I know all the folks at all of the Board of Regents institutions, but especially at Northern, we did what we could to help those students out. I think everyone who's been in the military, you have goofy situations that have happened to you at various times. And one that I can think of course I have several, but everyone has, I think, a common basic training or boot camp experience. A lot of people talk about how difficult that experience was. I did my basic training in Fort Bliss, Texas, which ironically is where I was mobilized, and actually my father was drafted and served at Fort Bliss, so we have some uncanny call to El Paso, Texas. Anyway, while I was at basic training, at that time we were gender segregated, so all the males were together. And I don't know if it was because of that or whatever, but the drill sergeants, they had very colorful names for us. And in fact, most of them, those names I can't really repeat today. El Paso is located in the desert. So for our field experience, we were out in the desert for a couple weeks, and we made it all the way through basic training. kind of feeling good about ourselves. You know, we're almost done, looking forward to going home or wherever else we were going to. And so we're standing in formation, we're ready to graduate. And you would think that, okay, here's the last day of basic training, we should be celebrating, you know, good job, good luck, that type of thing. But one of our drill sergeants, and of course drill sergeants wear those caps with the wide brims, kind of like the highway patrol wear. And the drill sergeant came up to the soldier next to me. And like they often did, they get really close to your face. So he's standing right in front of this guy next to me. And he said, "Private, some people are saying you've done a good job, but you're still a blankety blank to me." Now, a lot of us really wanted to, you know, to laugh at that, but even though it was the last day of basic training, we didn't laugh. And I'm sure we were all laughing on the inside, but if we did laugh, surely we'd be doing at least 50 push-ups. So it's kind of the idea that, you know, that was his way of saying, you did do a good job, but I'm not going to show it. So, you know, good luck and have a good military career.